What if I told you that in ancient China, going to the toilet meant sharing space with a pig? Or that brushing your teeth involved chewing on sticks dipped in herbs? Yes, you heard that right. Ancient China was home to one of the most fascinating and advanced civilizations in history. But when it came to hygiene, things weren't always, well, let's just say they didn't always smell like jasmine flowers. Forget your modern showers, minty toothpaste, or soft toilet paper. People back then had their own methods of staying clean. And some of those methods were downright shocking, a little gross, and unbelievably creative. In this video, we're diving deep into 6 unbelievable hygiene habits from ancient China, from toilet practices that will leave you speechless, to bizarre beauty routines that actually worked. Let's uncover the hidden side of ancient life that no one talks about. One of the strangest sanitation practices ever invented was the pig toilet. Yes, you heard that correctly, a toilet for pigs and people. In rural parts of ancient China, people developed a toilet system that doubled as a pigsty. Homes were often built with a wooden latrine that sat directly above the pig pen. Human waste would drop directly through a hole into the pen below, where pigs would eagerly consume the feces, along with food scraps from the household. It sounds disgusting today, but at the time, it was an efficient cycle of waste disposal. The pigs thrived, the waste was gone, and the resulting pig manure could then be used as fertilizer for crops. It was a primitive yet resourceful version of recycling. This practice dates all the way back to the Han Dynasty and remained in use for centuries. In fact, pig toilets weren't limited to China. They were found in Okinawa, parts of India like Goa, and even spread into Manchu regions. But here's the catch. Despite how efficient the system was, the idea of pigs feeding on human waste and then being used for meat became so controversial that modern Chinese authorities eventually discouraged the practice. Still, in some remote provinces of China, traces of the pig toilet system remain, a living relic of the past that challenges our entire idea of cleanliness. Before soft toilet rolls lined supermarket shelves, people in ancient China had to get creative, really creative. Long before paper became affordable, people used whatever was available: sticks, leaves, stones, even blocks of earth. But one of the most iconic tools from this era was the chugi, a hygienic implement made by slicing bamboo into long, thin strips and flattening them. It's believed that the wealthier class even used aromatic bamboo sticks with high water absorption. These chugi weren't exactly comfortable, but they were reusable, durable, and efficient. Eventually, toilet paper began to appear during the Yuan dynasty, but at first it was used exclusively by the imperial family. While the emperor wiped with smooth paper sheets, the common people had to make do with straw paper, which was rough, coarse, and far from comfortable. The upper class, on the other hand, used fine silk cloth. Yes, silk, just for wiping. That's the kind of luxury you'd only find in ancient palaces. It wasn't until the Ming and Qing dynasties that paper use became more widespread among the general population. Even so, the toilet experience remained a far cry from what we know today. Dental hygiene in ancient China was an evolving art, and while there were no electric toothbrushes or minty toothpaste, people took oral care surprisingly seriously. Initially, they cleaned their teeth using only their fingers, dipping them into a paste made of salt, vinegar, tea, or wine. This method, though primitive, helped in disinfecting the mouth and strengthening the gums. During the Tang and Song dynasties, an elaborate tooth powder was developed, combining herbs and minerals like saponin, ginger, lotus leaf, pork tin, and green salt. These mixtures didn't just clean the teeth, they were believed to regulate body heat, reduce moisture, and promote overall health. But perhaps the most innovative invention came in the form of the first toothbrush, created by chewing on willow branches. People would bite the end of the branch until it frayed, creating a soft, brush-like texture. This natural toothbrush would then be dipped into tooth powder for cleaning. Eventually, during the later dynasties, the Chinese began crafting toothbrushes with animal bristles, usually from pigs, attached to bamboo or bone handles. Though rough by today's standards, they laid the foundation for the toothbrushes we use now. In ancient China, bathing wasn't an everyday luxury. It was a ritual done with purpose and precision. Most people bathed every 5 days and washed their hair every 3, depending on their class and region. And forget about soap and shampoo, those didn't exist. Instead, the people of ancient China used rice water, the starchy liquid left over after rinsing rice, to cleanse their skin and hair. Rich in vitamins, proteins, and starch, rice water was known to remove oil, smooth skin, strengthen the scalp, and even relieve symptoms like frostbite and fatigue. Another popular cleanser came from the Chinese honey locust tree. Its pods were crushed into powder and used for everything from washing hair to treating skin ailments like ringworm and rheumatism. In fact, it was even added to laundry water to protect fabric from fading. Women in southern China also used plant ash, the remains of burned straw, as a natural body scrub and detergent. Later, plants like saponin became highly valued for their foaming properties, acting as ancient shampoo. According to the Compendium of Materia Medica, saponin could treat dandruff, itching, and swelling, making it one of the most effective natural cleansers of the time. While body hair removal wasn't a universal concern in ancient cultures, the Chinese developed a remarkably precise method during the Han Dynasty that is still in use today: threading. Threading involved using a loop of cotton thread to trap and pull out fine facial hairs, leaving the skin smooth. It wasn't just about appearance. Smooth, hair-free skin was seen as a sign of elegance and refinement. In the days before their weddings, both brides and grooms would undergo this treatment to look their best. The process required great skill and was often performed by experienced beauticians or family members. Unlike waxing or shaving, threading didn't involve any tools or chemicals, just thread and technique. Its effectiveness and simplicity are why this method has survived for over 2,000 years. Among the many overlooked yet fascinating aspects of ancient Chinese hygiene was the way women managed menstrual care, a topic often left out of historical records but vital to understanding everyday life. Long before disposable pads or modern sanitary products, Chinese women devised an ingenious method using sand and cloth. They would tightly wrap soft, absorbent fabric around fine-grained sand, creating a kind of natural, reusable pad. The sand acted as a temporary absorbent layer, soaking up fluid efficiently. Once the pad became saturated, the sand would be carefully discarded and the cloth would be washed, dried, and prepared for reuse in the next cycle. This practice, though simple, reflected an extraordinary level of practicality and awareness. At a time when menstrual hygiene was often a taboo subject, ancient Chinese women created a system that was not only effective but also economical and sustainable, qualities that align with today's eco-conscious mindset. It's worth noting that despite the discomfort such a method might cause by modern standards, it allowed women to maintain personal hygiene using natural materials that were readily available. In doing so, they set a precedent for resourceful, low-waste living that many are now trying to return to in the 21st century. This clever solution, passed down through generations, highlights just how adaptive and inventive the women of ancient China were, even when society didn't always acknowledge their contributions. So there you have it, 6 jaw-dropping hygiene practices from ancient China that challenge everything we thought we knew about historical cleanliness. From pig-powered toilets to bamboo sticks for wiping, from tooth-cleaning tree twigs to rice water baths, the people of ancient China weren't simply making do, they were creating systems rooted in natural wisdom and resourcefulness. These practices may seem bizarre, even shocking, to modern eyes, but they reflect a civilization that understood the importance of cleanliness, health, and sustainability, long before those became global buzzwords. What ancient China lacked in modern plumbing and cosmetics, it made up for with innovation, adaptation, and an intimate knowledge of the environment. It's a powerful reminder that history isn't just about wars, emperors, or inventions. It's about everyday people and the clever ways they navigated life. Ancient hygiene may not have always been luxurious or comfortable, but it was undoubtedly fascinating, and in some ways, remarkably ahead of its time. Stay curious, because history always has more secrets to reveal.